Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Both ways, or? Both ways are fine? Yeah. Good. So if someone is in trouble hearing me, just let me know. I will grab that thing and use that one. Anyway, so it's a creative morning. And actually, so thank you very much for inviting me to a creative morning. A creative morning for me. So I was thinking first, okay, what is it I'm going to deliver? As you can see, magic money, magic data. So thanks for being here anyway, or staying. The presentation will be very passionate. I was already telling the young guy here in front with his dog, because, you know, it's about magic and sometimes animals are very sensible to that, just in case there's something going to happen that he already knows. So creative morning or creativity for me is a passionate thing. So just to let you know, I think it's going to be a little passionate also. I think that's also cool, or? Yes. It's good that people nod when they talk about or hear about passion, right? Yes. Right. Okay. It's good to be rooted, right? When you talk about magic, right? I feel you, you feel me, right? This is what we normally think when we talk about magic, or hear the word magic maybe, or a wizard, magician. But there's another prototype which will appear in my presentation. And actually, because of money, there's also a third wizard. Let's take him as a prototype for economists or people dealing with money. There will be also some others. Let's start talking about magic. I was thinking, okay, magic. You should deliver a definition because everyone is talking maybe about magic. We see Harry Potter movies, but we don't know what is it really. I was starting with Marcel Mauss, ethnologist, wrote in his Sociology of Religions, looking at magic, tribes, tribals. The wizard is kind of an obsessive. That's a starting point for us, okay? The magician, something with obsession. It's an obsessive guy or woman, maybe. They even talk about magic in their rituals and their talks they give. What else is a magician or a wizard? The strongest effect to the imagination has the ease how the wizard fulfills desires. He has the ability to create more in reality than others dare even to dream. Last but not least, there are certain mental attitudes necessary. You have to believe and be serious. Nice fit to that guy, oh? Written 1904, describing people like Steve Jobs. Nice definition, or about Mr. Jobs, if you read that. So maybe this is a little hint already for us. How is magic still in our life, very present? But let's get into some exercise mode, some experience. Anyone a smartphone with you? If yes, can you please get it out? Or just get it into your hands, available? A wizard also is known about that, you know, Goethe wrote this great piece about the Zauberlehrling, so the apprentice of magic. And the wizard is always also teaching people doing some magical stuff. And this is what maybe Mr. Jobs did to us, right? So we have this little piece of magic there. And what are we doing most of the time? So if your smartphone is now turned off, just do what you normally do, please, right now. Do what you normally do with your fingers or make some movements. Don't open an app or something. Make sure that the display is off and just make some strokes on it. Some movements on it, okay? Everyone, it's quite easy, right? You do it every time. Just do some feelings, right? The rights of sympathy, of similarity, usually based on contact, on touch. Marcel Mauss, again, about rituals a wizard is doing. What are wizards doing? If they want to make rain, they do something with water, right? So that's a similarity. What are we doing when we stroke this piece in our hand? What do we do? What kind of magical thing we do there? Right? This is what we do with our fingers. We are gentle to the loved ones, right? We stroke them. Oh, it's so cool to have something which is beating a cat. Yes. So imagine what is happening to you when you stroke this thing. How important is it to you? What kind of relationship you build, you create with that unconsciously? And you're kind of doing some magical stuff with it, right? I mean, imagine Hermine and her bag, and she gets all the things out of her bag, right? Out of her bag. Harry Potter, Hermine, out of her bag, all the things. What are we doing with our smartphones? We get all the things out of the smartphones, all the things. We can order stuff and so on. We see information and so on. Let's go from the wizards to magic itself. Arthur C. Clarke, which was also on the invitation written, he formulated his third adage: any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. So you can't have any definition or separation from each other. Technology, which is very elaborated, is kind of magic. And if you then look again at Marcel Mauss, and he said magic is a social phenomenon. It's a social phenomenon. And if you bring these two kind of definitions together, this is what I did as a little homework in preparation for this talk, you have this. Any sufficiently advanced social technology is indistinguishable from magic. And now we talk about social technologies as magic. Isn't it incredible? What do you think? What was kind of the first social, magical thing, social technology mankind invented? And this is also a little homework I did for coming here. Language, alphabet. Imagine you still say, hey, spell this out. Spelling, I put a spell on you. So you still do some magic with words, right? So you can put a spell on people by saying the right words for the right time. And how you describe something. And in this beautiful book, David Abram describes it, how we kind of came from path reading in nature, invented alphabet, and so we kind of got disconnected from nature. Because we started to read in abstract paths. So we had this kind of layer in between. This magic kind of became a layer between nature and us. So this first social technology already kind of did that, what we today say, oh my God, this is so horrible and all capitalism is so bad and whatever. So this always couldn't be a starting point. Our first invention of social magic had some side effects, maybe. Also very beautiful things like poems, right? But some side effects. Very, very beautiful book. You should read that. That's a pretty amazing book which Mr. Abram writes there about the influence of language and alphabet to our culture. You can say maybe that language, that the alphabet is kind of the matrix also. It started not only to bring the path reading from nature to our kind of civilization, it's maybe also the world that pulled over our eyes and we kind of got disconnected. Maybe this is the metaphor we find in Matrix also. Let's go to another magical thing, and you will see this is also a social technology. If you look at money, you don't think that's a technology, right? Anyone who thinks money as a technology, I think difficult to say, right? But if you look at one definition also, that the single participant accepts money only when she knows for certain that everyone else will accept it too. So you see already there's a relationship. Money only works if there's a social environment and you can rely on that someone else will take the bill you get from someone else and you can pay at some other point with that. So there must be some social trust in. So because everyone else accepts it, we accept it. It is a social, and now comes the thing, technology. Money is a social technology also. And as we already saw, social technologies are kind of magic if they are very elaborated. Why is it a technology? Look what all has to be invented that money works. Mankind had to come up with numbers, with a concept like debts. We had to invent printing or metallurgy for the coins. All this, pricing, the idea of pricing, mining, forgetting the God, all technologies, all this what we need to create in the end this. So it's a very complex technology. Paper, all this must have been invented. And beside these technologies coming together, and then we have this, the journey continues. So this is not the end of the line. We invented accounting, interests, derivatives. Now digital technology, money becomes, sorry, there is a little crypto currency now included, right? Money becomes more and more digital also. So money is a very elaborated, very interesting social technology. Magic. Why is it magic? You can read this beautiful book about money and magic by a Swiss guy, a Swiss economist, and he's reading Goethe's Faust Part 2, not Part 1, Part 2, and there's a beautiful description how money was invented. A very beautiful description. And he analyzes that as kind of a hidden history of money. Very worth to read. But let's go a little more into the definition. With money you create wealth. In German we say also Vermögen. And the word Vermögen also means capacity, power in German. So you have a Vermögen to do something. You have a wealth to do something. So it's a capacity. And imagine, Georg Simmel, a German sociologist, he says Vermögen. So if you increase your wealth, your Vermögen, it is Können schlechthin, means the ability per se. If you have Vermögen, you can do everything. If you're wealthy, you can do everything. Isn't it like magic? Does this describe a little bit why money is maybe so powerful? Now, some people might say, yeah, you know, but what about friendship and love? You know, other topic. Maybe related. We will see later. A shaman. magician, priest. By the way, magicians are kind of the forerunners of priests. So we have magicians, then we have priests, we have magic, then we have religions. So this kind of the way we go through. An interesting thing, we are still kind of in this religious context, you will see later. You see here, I'm kind of connected with this guy, maybe. But this guy, they look different today. Right? Have you heard his announcement when he said he's going to buy some bonds back from the countries and his market interventions and what they're going to do, on which kind of derivatives level and what kind of magical math will be behind that? Have you heard this speech on NTV or in the news? This is magic. I mean, I studied economics and I were listening a full 45 minutes to this guy and I got nothing. That was kind of oh wow, that's great. And if you listen also to the guys from the Federal Reserve and also, they always do this. Maybe the interest will rise. Maybe not. Shit. Or if you remember this God thing with the lightnings, right? Lightnings, this strokes from, oh my God, the gods are angry. Today we see the chorus lines at the stock exchanges going down, oh my God, the markets. Ah. Where's the difference really? Where's really the difference? Okay, let's continue. So let's say these guys are now, oh, actually, no, they are not anymore, we know. Even these guys are not on the board anymore. That's an old slide, sorry for that. But you know, you can't keep up with the speed who's now on charge in the banking there. You don't even know if this is still existing, this magical signature. You're doing tribe stuff, right? So this symbol, I don't know. So I worked for Dresdner Bank. Dresdner Bank became yellow, and it was kind of a merger with Commerzbank, so it got the color, but the logo of the old one, blah, blah, blah. Maybe this will look, I don't know how this will look like in the near future. But actually, these people, who cares about them anymore? They are not in power anymore, right? They are not the priests anymore. They are not magicians. The math guys are, the physicians are, and these guys are the new wizards. And interesting is also that it's not only about tech. I mean, the tech world is very strongly related, as you see here, with the money world, right? The tech world and the money world, the magic of both worlds, they're merging now. They merged already. So we have a very powerful magical thing ongoing, right? Giving you an example again, how powerful this magic is, which we live by every day. And we just have it in our pocket, kind of bored in the underground, you know, listening to music. Oh, that's a new app. Wow, well. If you look, what are we really doing there? What are we really doing there? You know, we hear very often using an app, oh, that's all about convenience and one-click order. Everyone knows the shop I'm mentioning by doing that, right? By saying that one-click order. That's all about convenience, right? But what about convenience when you use this? Convenience is just to use the magic and bring the work to another level, right? I mean, this is just the sum of billions of clicks, right? People ordered, you sum it up, a billion of clicks, and then you have to bring this ship on the sea to deliver, right? So you sum up the clicks here, the easy, convenient clicks, and then you have this massive thing delivering. Is this magic or what? Okay, well, now comes a deeper truth, a sad truth, but this is also, I think it's not only about having fun. Creativity is about passion, it's about all emotions, sadness, it's about anger, it's about fear. Being creative means all the amount of emotions, bringing together and living by them. This is kind of an everyday thing we do, right? And here's someone who saw yesterday evening on Dreisat the Anthropocene, the documentary about the age of the human being creating planet Earth. Oh my God, that was amazing. I was seeing that and I was thinking, thank you guys, this is exactly what I'm going to talk about. So if you see, we have this convenient thing every day at the coffee table and so on. We're not aware of anymore about really the magic that's happening in the back and how this magic is working. These are servers, massive server farms in the back who helps to run the whole thing. Everyone knows the server farms are growing more and more, kind of size of a village already, right? Wow, we don't know that. We know that, but we don't know that. Then this, the logistics centers for all this pretty stuff we order. Doesn't matter if it's Zalando or Amazon or whatever, right? And we have all these shippings and trucks delivering all that. So there's a massive amount of supply chains we need for doing these convenient things. A massive amount we're not aware of, right? Isn't it magic? I mean, we can do with a little push on that, we can have such an impact to the environment. And I don't only mean nature or whatever. This is really changing environment. This is having an impact to other people's life, right? This is, wow. And continue. And now it becomes maybe a little, wow. Yeah, you will see. Because it's not only about this. This is the running system, but this system must be created, right? I mean, this is not just growing on trees, and this is not just energy consuming. This must be built. This is metal, this is copper, this is gold, this is silver. By the way, gold, right? The alchemists always wanted to create out of something which is nothing, value, gold, right? Wow, magic again. Now we create kind of out of gold even more valuable things. So we need all this to create this, right? It must become somewhere. There are, materials used, right? It's not just air, it's not thin air, right? It must come somewhere. It's rooted in fucking Mother Earth, okay? And this is so, you can't imagine that anymore. We're kind of disconnected. And remember back the story I told you about the alphabet. It's not just happening here, it's not just happening because of capitalism, whatever. This is something with our creative mind. So creativity is on the one hand very great, but on the other hand it is also some shaky ground. And the thing is not only where's all this coming from limited resources, so there's also maybe an end to this magical word, right? Like to every other limited resources. And we're kind of dealing with it like this is the future. This is, wow, we can go on and on and on like that. Let's go into hyper-reality, but hyper-reality is also rooted in this technology, which needs that. And where's it going when you're not using it anymore? Is it gone from the planet? Is it kind of, wow, now on the air? Also not. It's still there. Also back rooted in the earth. So the convenience, the magic, you have to do something that the magic is there, right? So someone else has to help for us, that we can be the wizards. Now I see, I'm doing a lot of stuff in the startup scene also in Berlin, and there's sometimes this mentality, hey, to save everything, click here, right? Let's come up with an app, let's come up with a social entrepreneurship idea or with a social venture, and let's tackle these problems, right? Sometimes I wonder, because I think that's kind of, when you do this, so you tackle the problem with the problem itself, or because if you create an app, you use still this infrastructure, kind of. And also, when you look at even, and this is very interesting, you found this very seldom on the internet, what kind of resources all these devices use. This is an approach of a sustainable mouse, and it's Naga IT, so it's a little commercial now, whatever, but they try to come up with, okay, where are all the parts, and it's just a mouse. I'm not talking about a server, I'm not talking about a display or a full computer, whatever. What is it that you all need for just creating a mouse? This is magic, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it's black magic, maybe it's white magic, you can decide. But when I saw this chart, and I saw it actually by a new book by Harald Welzer, I was kind of, and I was asking some board members I know from some IT companies here in Berlin, also in the States where I lived and worked, and they said, well, actually we don't have that for our products. That's interesting, but we don't have that. We have some brochures about, you know, green and ecological and energy and renewable energies, but how our components are composed, we don't have that. And I was, wow, this is amazing, interesting. I think that's worth to read. I hate disclaimers, by the way, always this, hey, I'm not to blame, I take no responsibility. I think we should put more proclaimers in our presentations, where we take the accountability and responsibility for. Yeah. I was talking to my son also. I was asking him yesterday, hey, Jonah, is there the light still on in your room? And he was walking back, and then he turned it off, and he came back, and he said, but you turned it on. And I said, Jonah, that was not the question. I was just asking, is the light still on? You don't have to blame me for that. It's just, I ask you. And I saw even my son, we are so fast in blaming other people for saying something or doing something. And where's the proclaiming? And here I proclaim what I did for my presentation. And I try to do better next time. Maybe I buy this Naga mouse. I will see. Okay, now the end point of the presentation comes, and I will go through with some slides, just some slides and some more exercises for you guys. When you look at him, and now comes a second picture, okay, a second picture. And when you see both pictures together, please realize what comes up to your mind, okay? You see both pictures then. Please realize what is coming up in your mind. And then, please, second step, ask yourself, why is this coming up to your mind, okay? So it's kind of a second order observation. So please be aware of what comes up to your mind when you see the second picture, and then try to think, why is this coming up to your mind? Let's go. Next little magical exercise. Everyone familiar with that? The Kaaba, Mecca, where the Muslims should go during their Hajj. It's an opening of a Saturn Media Mart Electronic Center at Alexanderplatz. Everyone is familiar with that, I guess. Even we're not going so often anymore there, but it's still nice, right? Very calm. And it was multimedia, actually. Sometimes I wonder, how could the church suffer so much? I mean, there are good reasons, right? But they did it multimedia. They had music, they had visualizations, they had architecture, they had smell, taste, all the senses, right? And we just do... Okay, sometimes there's also music, but not touch. I don't know, I'm not satisfied by touching that really, but anyway. And the smell and the taste is horrible. But anyway, I like this church windows there over there. This is an event I was here in Berlin just lately. Maybe you're familiar with the Tech Open Air. And I like the pipes in the back, the organ pipes. Isn't it beautiful? The prayers, the sayings, preaching, it's all there. Also some others. All about storytelling and putting a spell on you, on us. To perform a story or a spell is to strive for its realization. Remember, so this is a sympathy thing, right? Doing rain means doing something with water and it will rain. If you want to live by a certain story, you have to live and repeat it again and again by the rituals and by the things you do so it becomes reality. It's not reality yet, but by the stories we tell, more and more and more, and by the events we do, and maybe this event is also one of them. I'm part of it. Weird. We strive for its realization, right? I know that's a crappy picture of a co-working space. There are more beautiful ones right now. I'm aware of that. But I like the positions of the people. And now comes a little research question, because I'm also a scientist. I'm very into raising questions, and I actually don't have answers. I'm really keen, maybe also getting some Q&A afterwards when we talk about it. What are the differences? What are the similarities of this? And also of this now? Everyone knows this, or isn't it? Everyone knows them now. Everyone is using them, right? So, okay, here comes my scientific question, raising it as a magician. What is the difference between them and tarot cards? Maybe you have an easy answer very fast. Maybe it's wrong because it's so fast in your mind. Maybe it's worth doing some research. I don't know. I just found it interesting. There's some prototyping where everyone knows, and design thinking, right? People play scenes out, customer relationship, does this work, the new service, the interaction of the service. How does it differ of the rituals of a shaman? Maybe you think you already have the answer. For me, I'm not sure, actually. I don't know. And the prototypes, also the things we build, the fast prototyping, right? How does it differ from this? I don't know. Maybe there's some interesting discussions afterward. One last thing, I just loved it. You see, it's a Norse runes for luck and protection. So some Nordic magic, because we're here in Germany, right? So some Nordic magic. And now comes a symbol I found in a very just recently released design thinking handbook. How does it differ? What is the difference? How does it work? Does it work different? I don't know. What happened after the people used that once? What was the consequence? What is the consequence here? I just loved it. And I think it's worth thinking about, because magic is also related, and I think the guy here in the front row also knows it again. It's about symbols also, right? Magical symbols. They are guiding us through life. Okay, coming to a little conclusion. A story, a spell, embracing the whole world might give meaning to the lives of the people who are guided by it. So the people who agree to the story being told, this gives them meaning and this brings them forward in life, and they strive for it and they think, yeah, that's cool. This is how the world will be and I'm part of it and I'm creating it. But it might destroy its meaning in the lives of others. And this is the power of stories. I mean, I'm also teaching storytelling, and I kind of started with, stories, telling stories is so beautiful, right? But stories can be also very powerful in destroying stuff because they are so powerful. Stories give meaning, they create values, and they also deliver values we share, and we connected by stories. But we're also disconnected by stories. And if you see, we live by a certain story, but maybe this story destroys the meaning and the lives of others. But if you look at this, maybe there's a little light at the tunnel. And I don't want to talk about artificial intelligence now or something like that. I want to talk about what this Robert is doing there. And you remember our little exercise with a smartphone? I would like to have a last little exercise with you guys. It's a magical thing now, okay? Remember how the dog reacted? So be aware of what you do now, okay? Just do this. Everyone is doing this, crossing your arms in front of your chest, please. So it's quite simple, right? Yeah? Okay? And now, please, your left or your right arm, but now it's on the left side. Move it like that. So the palm is to the upper side, right? And the other hand, keep like this. Okay? And now try to stroke the palm of your neighbor. Or move the other hand the other round, but try to stroke the palm of your neighbor like your smartphone with 2 fingers, with a hand, and also look at the face of the person. Maybe smiling. Do it to the other way around. Yeah, just try it. Just try it. Look to the right, or just look to the right and say, hey, nice. And do this. So this was my last impulse to you. And remember, the wizard, the real power of the wizard is not about using another device with your hands, but the magic is in your hands by maybe touching another living entity. Thank you.